whether it be number one in the region or number one in the state, and if you're crazy enough, number one in the nation. And the reason why it sounds so basic is because most people give very basic answers to it.
When you say you're on track,
Right.
that is the perfect example of what you're talking. And I said to myself, I'm just going to go until I can't go anymore. I'm just going to go to failure. How many could I do?
When you got that burning desire to dethrone someone else, you're playing for seasons to come.
Matt Weaver, the #1 mortgage originator in the United States for most loans closed in 2023 and #1 in the state of Florida from 2020 to present, has spent over 27 years mastering the purchase market, earning more than 16 #1 titles across his career. Max Fisch, 2024's #1 originator in the United States under 30 and #2 in the state of Florida, achieved those titles within just 5 years of entering the mortgage industry, compressing decades of growth into a few extraordinary years. Collectively, they've helped more than 40,000 families purchase their first home. Now partners and looking to improve the industry on a national scale, Matt and Max share their winning formula, team structure, and systems with originators who want to scale from elite to extraordinary levels.
So Matt, we had the great opportunity, I should say, to be in a room with 20 of the highest producing real estate agents in South Florida recently. Yes?
Yes.
And it was an incredible experience. We spent time thinking together, talking through different strategies, in pretty much thinking in scale.
Yeah.
And it was just an excellent time to connect with them. But we asked a series of questions in this time together. And one question rang true. We spent a lot of time on this question. And it was as simple as, what do you want to accomplish? And the thinking and the thoughts and the different things that were going around the room were just so extraordinary, because it's so interesting that such a simple question can really propel us to extraordinary results, which I know that you know better than anyone.
No question about it. What do I want to accomplish? It sounds so basic.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why it sounds so basic is because most people give very basic answers to it. What do I want to accomplish in 2026? Well, I want to increase my production by 10 or 15%. Maybe that's units. Or I want to increase my volume by 10, 15, 20%. Okay. It's a pretty basic question and basic answer behind that. But here's what we challenge the group with. What do I want to accomplish? What if we thought about accomplishing #1? And what we mean by #1, well, everyone was at a little bit of a different phase within their career. So we said to them, whether it be #1 in the office that you're in, assuming it's a competitive office, whether it be #1 in the county that you're in, okay, or the city, whether it be #1 in the region or #1 in the state, and if you're crazy enough, #1 in the nation. Because here's the deal. What we talked about is when you're looking to increase your production by 10, 15, 20%, you're playing for one season. When you're chasing to be #1, when you got that burning desire to dethrone someone else, you're playing for seasons to come. Okay, so it's a big difference in thinking. So if we're looking to dethrone someone else, if we're looking to accomplish greatness by getting to that #1 status, not for ego purposes, but for the desire of showing, whether it be your spouse, your children, your mother, your father, that you can do extraordinary things in the field that you chose. That really should be one of the main motivational factors, in my opinion. So when you're chasing #1, you will make different decisions throughout the year, which in essence will allow you to scale further. So for example, if you and I as a unit were chasing to be, if we were chasing to increase 10, 15, 20%, we wouldn't make as bold decisions as we're doing right now.
Correct.
With certain hires, with certain process and procedure, with additional value propositions we want to roll out to our agents. We wouldn't be doing that, because it wouldn't require, we wouldn't put ourselves under that pressure, because we're only looking to go up 10 to 15%.
Well, you know what we would say, Matt?
Tell
We
me.
would say, oh, we're on track.
Yeah, right, there we go.
When you say you're on track,
Right.
That is the perfect example of what you're talking.
Without a doubt. So I spent years, 2014, 15, 16, chasing number one in different sections, whether it was number one in the county, then moved on to, of course, the company I was with, then moved on to the state, etc. But watch what it did. Okay. There were several years that I was chasing number one to dethrone someone else, a local competitor. Okay. And I'll never forget it. It was probably 3 years in a row that I couldn't get him. And then on the third year, I turned back around. I said to myself, look at all the transactions I closed. I didn't even realize it. Okay. How much I was growing.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter because I didn't hit number one. But what if I was just looking to increase incrementally? Would I have closed the same amount of transactions?
No.
Probably not, because the goal would have been hit, and then maybe I would have took my foot off the gas. Maybe I would have celebrated. And in the words of my mentor, Mr. Mike Ferry, he says, in order to be a superstar, you got to learn to stop celebrating.
Absolutely. And quick question, does Mike's head bobble like that one right there?
Right there. He just keeps me in line every hour.
No, I think it's such an interesting concept because psychologically speaking, why I think chasing number one and chasing those rings psychologically helps you scale at a higher level is because there's no ceiling to number one. If you think about it, every other number has a ceiling. The ceiling to number two is number one. The ceiling to number three is number two. But number one doesn't.
Why do we have you on this show? You understand that, right?
My brain. Number one doesn't have a ceiling.
Doesn't have ceiling.
So if we think about it, if we're chasing something and there is no ceiling, then you just continue to just scale as high as you can.
Correct.
And the numbers at the end of the year fall where they may. But at the end of the day, if you just are chasing, it's almost like you're chasing a ghost.
Right.
You're just going as high as you can. And the analogy that I'll draw with that is, I think I've shared this with you before, is working out. Okay. I've only worked out a couple times in my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
I see that.
And every time I think I have to, it's this mental battle that I fight through because before I get under the bar, if I tell myself I'm going to do 8 reps, what do you think happens?
No, well, you're going to.
I'm going to do 8 reps.
At best.
Yeah. And if I do 9, I'm like, oh, I did one more than I said I was going to do. But what if I could do 12? What if I just went under the bar and I said,
I'm going to stop there real quick. First of all, we had a discussion about this.
Yeah.
Okay. We worked out several times when we traveled. Okay.
Yeah.
We never stop at 12. You go to 13.
13.
Okay,
13.
let's just stop there.
But what if I just went under the bar and I said to myself, I'm just going to go until I can't go anymore. I'm just going to go to failure. How many could I do? And that's an interesting concept when we consider this. I remember just a personal story. I was chasing number one as well. Now, of course, you were in my way. I caught you because you're here with me, but not in numbers. I just caught you in person.
Let's just make that clearer.
Not in numbers, but I caught you in person. But I was chasing number one. And I remember, years in to my career, I look back and I said, if somebody put, and I apologize for this analogy, but if somebody put a gun to my head and said, do you know how many transactions you've closed in the last 2 years? I would have no idea. I would have no idea because I wasn't chasing a transaction count.
Of course.
I needed to do as much as I possibly could to get close to achieving number one. It didn't matter.
Correct.
It didn't matter what the transaction count was. And I think that's interesting.
Oh my gosh. So in essence, for those that are listening, if you think about it, okay, what you're chasing is typically going to be in direct proportion to what you're going to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And let's start with the premise of this. And I think we can both agree to this. We're nothing different than any of our listeners. We're nothing that extraordinary over them. Okay. Meaning everyone can accomplish greatness in this industry. I really do believe that. So I am a big nurture over nature person in a lot of different ways. So when I say that, I don't say it to sound cliche of any kind. I say it from the heart because I mean it. So that the question becomes, okay, how are they thinking and what are they chasing? Because it'll always be in direct proportion, usually. So I guess what I would say is this. For the originator that's listening today, okay? Everyone's going to be at a different phase in their journey to winning. Some might be closing a few transactions a month. Some might be closing 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 plus, whatever the number is. Okay? You got to chase number one in some capacity. Maybe it's number one at your branch. Maybe you move on to being number one within your company in the state that the company resides in, or that state that you're originating in. Maybe you move on to who's number one in your county. Okay? We should always be looking to dethrone someone. Okay? Chasing championship rings is what we're constantly doing, and it is what has been one of our key ingredients in winning at a high level. So okay, that great gift that you got me, we'll have to someday show it to the great audience. Okay, we won. This is our 6th ring, okay, for the state of Florida, okay, as the number one origination team. All right. So we look at it as championship seasons. And so we're just always looking to win our state, to win the nation. Okay. And so we're always focused on that, which creates no ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if we can live in that space and we can understand what that means for our business, also personally, but for our business specifically, the worst thing that can happen is you did the best that you could. That's the worst thing that can happen. Because at the end of the day, if you don't put a ceiling on yourself, then to your point, throughout the year, you're going to make decisions to continue to grow. There is no, I'm on track to reach this, so we're good.
Yeah.
It's consistently thinking about ways that you can grow and scale in your business. And so if you can get to a point to where you're really focused on just being the best you can, chasing that number one, let the numbers fall where they may, but you can put your head on your pillow at night and understand that you left it all on the field, so to speak. I think that there's no better feeling than that professionally and personally.
Oh, no doubt about it. So here's what they should do, whoever's listening. Why don't you just go ahead and write down right now, what am I looking to accomplish? ? And look at it tomorrow morning and answer that question to yourself. Which number one? Who are you looking to dethrone? And when you do, you got to move on to someone else.
That's it. Thank you so much, Matt.
Always a pleasure.